going to do it. We don't know how much it'll hurt. It might hurt a lot. It might hurt less, slightly less than we think. Who knows? But we are going to do it and just keep going with that. And that's all I kept repeating to myself as it just got harder and harder and harder.
As mountains go, yeah, it's terrifying.
This is such a standalone mountain that you've just got the surrounding area, which is flat, and Mont Ventoux, which just sticks out of the ground like an absolute beast.
It's early, really early. Been up since 2:45.
Ready to get going. Ready to get going. There's been a lot of build up to this now. Alright, we'll do it sooner. I literally still don't feel like I'm about to go and do Ventoux 4 times. I'm so excited to get it done. But yeah, I don't know at what stage it's going to kick in that we're actually doing it. Yeah. But it's certainly not at the moment. I just feel like I'm going out for a really early ride.
Have fun, boys.
Good one. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
Hello. Ascent 1 was from where we're staying in Bedouin, and that was going all the way up to the top of Ventoux. That was 1,600 metres of climbing and about 22 kilometres in length. The route kind of took us out through Bedouin Centre. We then started climbing, and it was quite a nice section, really, wasn't it? It was through a foresty sort of road. That continued up for, I'd say, a good 15 kilometres.
They're 11k up the hill. By my reckoning, they must be halfway up the first ascent.
Almost done Bedouin already and about broken the back of it. Half the time that we thought we were going to do it in, and do as much as we can when it's cool and dark and there's no traffic.
Yeah. Basically, it's just heads down, just keep pumping it, and just push it as hard as we can. Get as much of it done before that heat kicks in, because that's when we're going to start to suffer, and then we can just push on with the easy route after.
I love how we call it the easy route. Easy!
You kind of hit the final ascent into Ventoux, where you basically came to, I don't know if you could see it in the background, but you could basically see the chalky, limestoney background, and that's basically what we then hit for the last 7k. As we're heading towards the top, it's getting really exposed, and actually the wind's picking up, and the temperature is just dropping drastically up here. Oh, cold. Ventoux as an area suffers with Mistral wind, and it's a really cold, bitterly cold wind. You could just feel your core temperature just dropping drastically.
There's 2 directions that you take on the Bedouin final 7k. You cycle towards the observatory, and then you cut back into the mountain at probably about 90 degrees to the observatory, and you repeat that about 6 or 7 times on your workout. On effort, I'd say you're about 50% through of your climb then. You're much further than that on distance, but as far as effort's concerned, you've still got about the same again to go to get you through that last 7 kilometres. And I was doing it, and all I had in the back of my mind was, I know if we stick to our current plan, this is the last thing we'll do in about 20 hours' time, because we'll be doing this again.
We 100% celebrated too early. I thought that was our total climbing for the ride, but that was from sea level, so we had a lot more to do than we thought. I'm not sure this altitude is doing me any favours at all.
That was tough, really, really tough. I don't know whether it's just mentally you had the end in sight, but we've done it. It's 1 down. There's nowhere in England that we could have tested this bike on such a long straight going downhill on a 10-12% gradient of where we're going to be constantly pressing these brakes on and off the whole entire time. And so when we got to Ventoux and we went for that first ascent, it was our first real opportunity to be like, all right, what can you do? Let's see, you know.
They've got a puncture. Bit of a shame, really. First descent, and they've blown a tyre.
Our drum brake was like really, really humming, which we didn't really know why. We've been putting it on and off, but it turns out it was boiling hot, as were our brakes on the front, which have actually melted the inner tube. So front tyre blew out, and we pretty much lost control of the bike, which was really, really scary.
No pressure, Robin.
No pressure. What we're going to have to do now is that we're going to concentrate on just the hill climbing and just for safety reasons. We're going to have to basically put the tandem into the back of the van and drive down the hills each time. Because when that tyre blew, it was horrendous. I mean, we lost full control of it.
Oh my god, is that an anaconda? Sun's out now. Much more motivational cycling in the light than in the dark as well. I keep telling myself. But yeah, we've just driven down ASCENT, thinking it's going to be the second hardest climb after Bedouin, but those gradients to me look worse than Bedouin.
This one seems to be steeper in terms of gradient, but then it does seem to flatten off for a couple of 100 metres and then kicks back up again. It's all the first time that we've done this, so it's going to be hard to know what it's going to be like until we go and do it. I think the worst one I'm dreading at the moment is that mountain bike route. That's going to be tough. Ascent number 2, ASCENT back up to Ventoux. We knew it was going to be hard. Like, you know, we'd seen the graphs and stuff, and we knew the percentage of the climbs and everything like that. But it was so much tougher than I thought it was going to be. The heat was on us from the start. There was zero shade, like all the way up. It was relentless in terms of 10 and 12% gradients. You know, and we had people going past us on road bikes, even electric bikes, who would overtake us, and we'd see them up ahead 200 metres, stopping on the side of the road, where they just got exhausted. You know, and we knew in our heads, if they're finding it tough, we're going to be finding it really tough. We have a lot of cyclists around us now, and because we can't shift as fast as a regular cyclist, it's quite disheartening when like you're trying to push as hard as you can, and you're just getting overtaken constantly. I think we're making good time. It certainly feels a lot harder than the other side. I don't know if that's mentally as well. You know, it's a weird thing. You know, we're in daylight now, so we can actually see the route. Whereas when we started, obviously we were in the dark, so it makes it quite nice that sometimes you can't see what's going on in front of you.
Well done, boys. And they're doing amazingly. We've got our motivation crew going here, shouting out the window at them every time we pass them.
Pretty warm, very warm. It's steep and then flat, steep and flat.
It's just so hard with our weight, like on that bit there, to physically get the pedals to turn around. It's just like having a watt bike on its hardest setting and just doing that for an hour.
Yes.
All that was going through my mind during that second ascent was this is meant to be easier than the one we did before, and it's not. And we've based that it being easier on the information we've had, and we've really looked at huge amounts of stats and profiles and whatever else about each climb. And I went, how wrong have we got this? And this is the hardest thing I've ever done. This second climb is absolutely destroying me, and we've got 2 more to go, and which we think might be easier, but now who knows?
How far up are we? Are we like 1,200?
A bit more than that.
Are we?
About 1,300, 1,400.
Okay. Yeah, so we're probably about 500 metres short from the top. About 3/4 of the way up, there's this little cafe, and so we managed to actually stop there and have a proper rest before we made the final ascent. And I think we both personally, we really needed it.
I think it's amazing what a 10-minute break does for you, to be honest. I had a little break, little coffee. Little freshen up, and it just resets you. Like, we were in a world of pain 20 minutes ago, and I'm genuinely raring to go again now. It's a steep finish, isn't there? Dig deep moments, but you recover from them, and like, I think I'm saying it now because I'm at the top, but I look back on it and I think I enjoyed it. I'm not sure I was enjoying it at the time, but being at the top, it's just such a good feeling, getting to the top when we were here this morning, it was literally the 4 of us and a dog. So to get up here and there's a real buzz around the place, everyone's celebrating getting to the top of their respective rides. There's a sweet stand, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, this is like, it's really quite a buzzy feeling now, which is great.
Legs are heavy, you just constantly go in and out of wanting food, not wanting food, wanting hydration, not wanting it. And you're just, at the moment, just trying to force stuff down you, basically.
There we go.
Yeah, it's the hardest challenge I've ever done, for sure.
I love cycling this much.
That's about
This much.
Biggest one too.
Yeah. I just love it. I just want to go and climb that mountain again, and then again. Let's count down. 3, 2, 1, go. See ya.
Go do number 3. So Bedouin up to the forest route, and then onto the mountain bikes, and then back up to the top on the ASCENT route, which we just did, until we get up to Mont Ventoux. Once done that, it's then just salt to go. And apparently, salt's easy. Every part of me is sweating buckets.
Electrolyte up and down.
That heat is something else.
Just about to go onto the mountain bike route, and they've got to do that ascent, and we'll meet them the other side of the mountain bike route. So this will be unassisted by vehicles.
Goodbye to the tandem for a little while.
I'd love to say I'm going to miss it, but I'm not.
I think it's going to be quite nice actually, just to have a little bit of suspension.
Comfort levels have gone significantly up. I am excited for this bit. I've not done much mountain biking before.
I was really excited for Route 3 before it. I was excited to get off the tandem, have a change of scenery, a change of bike. First got on my bike and I went, this is brilliant, it's really comfortable, and Dave was going, this is going to break me. I honestly don't know if I can do this. Within 100 metres of starting, I realised I was on what can only be described as a razor blade saddle.
My saddle is a razor blade though.
I'm really enjoying it. we both have just absolutely smashed it out there. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is yet to be seen, because obviously making good time on this, does that mean that we fatigued our legs for actually when we get back on the tandem? We don't know.
That bit at the start where I said my comfort levels have just gone from very low to very high, I've never regretted saying something more in my life. That was genuinely agony. 380 metres to climb in 5.5 kilometres, and that's 3 ascents done. And down into Seoul for the easy climb.
Even though we've been up here before, it's just breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. This final straight here, which is still a climb, but it just eases off that little bit, and it feels quite nice. But until you get to that point,
It's hell.
it's hell, absolute hell. It just doesn't let up, you know.
3 down.
I've got goosebumps at the moment, just thinking about the fact we've climbed this mountain 3 times.
Like, it's been the most painful thing I've ever done. But it's just incredible. Absolutely unreal. I can't wait to get the 4th one done.
I am so excited for number 4. Genuinely cannot wait.
It's going to be a different ride for us, because actually it's that little bit longer, so we're going to have to just keep the legs turning over for that little bit further, but not up such steep gradients. So now that it's the last one, what we can't go and do is just get excited and think, oh great, we're on a 3% gradient, let's absolutely smash it, you know, because we actually need to save it for that last 7. Because that last 7 is going to be where it really counts.
The ride itself up until 20 kilometres will be absolutely fine. But yeah, body's in a huge amount of pain. Once we hit that 20 kilometre mark, we rejoin with the final 7 kilometres of the Bedouin climb, which is brutal, but the fact is every single kilometre down then is a kilometre towards the finishing line, so it'll be a tough finish, but we'll be glad to get it done. There's not a prayer, we're not going to do this now. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, last one, you got this. Well done. Oh.
What was the last route?
It was the easy route.
Yeah, it was definitely the easy route.
We'd referred to it about 4 or 5 times, probably more, during that day as the easy route.
I want to clear this up though quickly, okay? So we referred to this as the easy route because of the salt section, okay? Just the salt section, not the last 7k. The last 7k does not count as the salt section. That still counts as the Bedouin route for me.
We were genuinely hammering it.
It's fine, still pretty warm at the moment actually. But yeah, chipping away.
We were going decent speed up the hills, and I was going, right, it'll flatten in a minute, maybe next hill, maybe next corner, and it was dark, it was pitch black by this point. Again, you're back to your 20 metres in front and working those sections, and those flat sections just never came.
Does anyone else remember it being a lot flatter than this on the way down?
Yes.
For me, that really demoralised me at that point. I was going, okay, we've got it wrong from statistics, but how are we now getting it wrong from things that we think we've seen half an hour beforehand, and we still can't predict what this mountain's going to do to us or present us with?
Snap the chain. We've effectively finished our climbing of the salt section, and literally the moment we hit the flat, we went to change up into the middle cog from the bottom, and the chain just snapped clean off. So we're going to put the whole new chain on it now.
Yeah.
We've got to miss that one.
Yeah, okay.
Put that one there.
Yeah, because
Right.
mine's obviously falling
Hold
out.
that together.
Yeah. Hang on, pull yours out.
Yeah.
Tyre blowing earlier in the day, fine, that's going to happen, we're going to have mechanicals. But to have reached a flat section and have put the bike through so much abuse all day and finally got it on the flat where it should start to be a bit more comfortable, and for something like this to happen, I'm just gutting, basically.
That is,
what
in
we
theory,
do.
we need a stamp, yeah. Just a stamp. Go on, proper stamp, that's it, it's done it.
Yeah.
Go.
Now what?
Our lighter's run out of battery.
Yeah, Tim, just take that thing off yours.
Can we have that?
And just give it to us, alright? Just let us have it.
Well done, boys.
Saddle on my mountain bike, and we'll finish it on mountain bikes. There's no point. We thought our chain was 1 link too long, but it's actually not flexing properly. So it's just, if you bend the chain, it's just staying in its position like that. So it's getting really late now, we're both knackered. So we're gonna put more comfortable saddles onto our 2 mountain bikes, and then we're gonna finish the last 10k on mountain bikes.
It's not ideal, but I think the Tandem's had it really, and it's too dark to kind of mess around with it at the moment. It's making any sort of change is really hard to do, so we're just changing over saddles, putting them onto the mountain bikes, put on new lights, and then just off we go.
Thanks, guys.
We are about 3k from the top, and it's just absolutely blowing a gale. We've got them in between the 2 cars, basically just trying to shield them, keep an eye on them.
We hit a lot of wind again. The wind had really picked up, it had gotten really cold, and I just couldn't stick on the bumper of it anymore. I just kept on dropping back, at which point I then shouted to Will, once we hit this corner, I need to pull over. No, I just feel really sick.
Do you? Yeah.
We're 2 kilometres from the top of the 4th ascent, Dave is he's drained, absolutely drained. He's not going to pass out. He said I may well be sick, but so it seems silly, having gone up 3.9 times to say you can't do the last 2K, because he'll do it, and he won't feel great, that's for sure. I think he'd be heartbroken if he pulled out now, although he's not got a lot left to give.
They've given everything today. We can't take any risks, so we're giving them some time to see how Dave feels, and then we'll take it from there.
I got on the bike with you again. We pushed on. We got to about 1 kilometre to go, and my body just gave up.
You've got 1K. Do you want to push it up? Yeah. Yeah.
Walking.
Walk him.
I'll walk with you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to summit, I'm going to cycle to near there because walking's going to fuck me. Right, yeah, I'll cycle to near there and I'll wait for there.
I had no doubt we were going to, in some way or another, cross the finish line at the summit together and the challenge was going to be done. But it was this gut-wrenching feeling of going, I know I've got to get up to that top point because I can't do it in any other way. But going, I'm now cycling away from Dave, who's pretty much delirious on the mountain.
Well done, Mel. Well done, Dave.
Go on, boys.
Well done, you guys. Well done. Amazing. Like I
The real doubters were the cycling community, who actually knew what cycling up Ventoux, once, let alone 4 times, meant, let alone on a tandem, let alone with an off-road route. And that in no nasty way, it was more concern, just going, lads, you're asking for money from people in a challenge that we genuinely don't believe is possible.
Yeah.
As in, regardless of your training or whatever else, we don't think it's possible for you to do this.